Hello my dear students. So you all are welcome to my geography class. I am going to discuss with you all chapter number 3, drainage system. And today I will be discussing about the differences between the Himalayan rivers and the peninsular rivers, as well as the differences between the east flowing and the west flowing peninsular rivers. Okay. So basically, before I start discussing about the differences between this Himalayan and peninsular and the east flowing and the west flowing peninsular rivers, first of all, let me say you that the rivers of our country can be classified into two major categories. One is the rivers of the Himalayan region and another one is the rivers of the peninsular region. Okay. So that is why we say that the Himalayan rivers and the peninsular rivers. Okay, the rivers which originate from the Himalayan region are the Himalayan rivers, and the rivers which originate from the central highlands are the peninsular rivers. Okay, so we need to study about the differences between this Himalayan and the peninsular rivers. Okay, the peninsular rivers are again divided into two categories. One is the east flowing peninsular rivers and the west flowing peninsular rivers. Okay. So we need to study the differences between this east and west flowing peninsular rivers as well. Okay. So today my topic or my discussion will mainly focus on the differences between the Himalayan and the peninsular rivers and the differences between the east flowing and the west flowing peninsular rivers of India. So let us start first with the differences between Himalayan and peninsular rivers. See. One of the basis of the mode of origin. Okay, on the basis of the mode of origin, nature and characteristics, the Indian drainage may be classified into Himalayan rivers and the peninsular rivers. Okay, so some of the important differences between Himalayan and peninsular rivers are as follows. See, Himalayan rivers. Okay, Himalayan rivers are perennial rivers. The Himalayan rivers are perennial rivers. That means they have water supply throughout the year. Okay, there is a continuous flow of water in the Himalayan rivers throughout the year. Whereas the peninsular rivers are the seasonal rivers. Okay, like only during the rainy season the flow of water increases in the peninsular rivers. Okay. Some of the examples of Himalayan rivers are like the Indus, Ganga, Brahmaputra and all. These are the examples of Himalayan rivers which has its origin in the Himalayas. Okay, and some of the peninsular rivers are like the Narmada, Tapi, okay, Krishna, Kaveri, Godavari and all. Okay. See, the Himalayan rivers, they obtain water from rain as well as from melted snow and high mountains. Okay, the Himalayan rivers, they obtain water from melted snow and high mountains. So as we know that the Himalayas, okay, the higher altitudinal areas of the Himalayas remains covered with snow and the glaciers. So this snow and the glaciers, they melt and it supplies water to the rivers actually. Whereas the main source of water of the peninsular rivers is rainfall. Rainfall is the main source of water for the peninsular rivers. The Himalayan rivers, they have a larger river basin. Okay, they have a larger river basin. That means the area they occupy or the area they drain is very larger as compared to the peninsular rivers. Okay, the peninsular rivers have a smaller basin as compared to the Himalayan rivers. Okay, the Himalayan rivers mainly run in their youth stage. So most of the Himalayan rivers, okay, they are in their youthful stage, and as because they are in their youth stage, okay, they cause more erosional activity. Okay, and the peninsular rivers are considered as old rivers or mature rivers. Okay, and this is why the erosional activity is less for the peninsular rivers. Okay, see, the Himalayan rivers, the two major Himalayan rivers, that is the Indus and the Brahmaputra, they originate from the north of the mountain ranges. Okay, from the northern part of the mountain ranges of, okay, of India. But most of the peninsular rivers, okay, most of the peninsular rivers, they originate, okay, in the Western Ghat and flow towards the Bay of Bengal. Okay, they originate in the Western Ghat and flow towards the Bay of Bengal. Okay, and Godavari and Narmada are the main river system of this peninsular rivers. These are the two large rivers of peninsular India. The main source, again, the main source is from glaciers for the Himalayan rivers. Okay, for the Himalayan rivers, the main source is from the glaciers, whereas the main source of the main source of the rivers in the peninsular plateau and the central highland. Okay, for the peninsular rivers, the main source of water is the peninsular plateau region and the central highland. Okay, from there water supply is there actually. The Himalayan rivers have long courses from their source to the sea. They have a very long course. That means they flow for a longer distance. Okay, for example, the Ganga. The Ganga is the Himalayan river and it is the longest river of our country, isn't it? But the peninsular rivers, they flow for a shorter distance. They have a shorter course. Okay, shorter and shallower course as compared to the Himalayan rivers actually. Okay, so this is what about the differences between the Himalayan rivers and the peninsular rivers. So Himalayan rivers are mainly those rivers which originate in the Himalayan region. They get its water supply from the melting of snow and the glaciers. They have a long course. Okay, they are in the youthful stage. They cause more erosional activities and all. Okay, whereas the peninsular rivers, they originate from the peninsular region, mostly in the central highlands and in the western ghats. These rivers, okay, they mainly get water from rainfall. Okay, they have a shorter course. That means they are not much longer. They have a shorter course. Okay, and they does not cause much erosional activity. Okay, as because they are much older. Okay, so these are the few important differences between the Himalayan rivers as well as the peninsular rivers. Okay, so as I said you earlier that the peninsular rivers are further classified into two categories. Okay, that is the east flowing peninsular rivers and the west flowing peninsular rivers. Okay, so we need to discuss about the differences between these east and the west flowing peninsular rivers. Okay, see. The peninsular drainage system is older than the Himalayan one. Okay, so the peninsular drainage system is older than the Himalayan river. This is evident from the broad, largely graded shallow valleys. Okay, so and this is proved because this is proved by the broad and the shallow valleys of the peninsular rivers actually. The western ghats close to the western coast act as the water divide between the major peninsular rivers. Okay, so the western ghat, it acts as a water divide. Water divide is the particular zone, or you can say water divide is an uplifted area from where the river flows in two different directions. Okay, so as we know that in the western ghats the hills are there, so these western ghats act as a western water divide actually. From here some of the peninsular rivers they flow towards the Bay of Bengal and some they flow towards the Arabian Sea. Okay, and this is why they are being classified into two categories, east and west flowing. That means the rivers which flows towards the Bay of Bengal, they are the east flowing rivers, and the small rivers which flows towards the Arabian Sea, they are the west flowing rivers. Okay, so the peninsular rivers can mainly be classified into two types on the basis of their discharge of water, such as the east flowing and the west flowing. So see, east flowing peninsular rivers. Okay, the rivers which originate from the peninsular region and drain its water into the Bay of Bengal are the east flowing rivers. So most of the peninsular rivers they flow towards the east, okay, and they drain their water in the Bay of Bengal, okay, and that is why they are known as the east flowing rivers. The west flowing rivers, the rivers which originate from the peninsular plateau region and drain its water into the Arabian Sea are the west flowing river, as because they flow towards the west. Okay. The east flowing rivers they have a larger course as compared to the east flowing rivers. Okay, that means the east flowing rivers are much longer than the west flowing rivers, because the rivers which originate in the western ghats, okay, they travel a long distance to reach the Bay of Bengal. Okay, and that is why they are having a larger course, whereas the west flowing rivers they have a shorter course. They have to travel only few kilometers to reach the Arabian Sea. Okay, Most of the peninsular rivers are the east flowing rivers. A majority of the rivers which originate in the peninsular India, they are the east flowing rivers. Okay, only few small rivers flow towards the west in the Arabian Sea. Okay, the east flowing rivers, they form deltas at its mouth. Okay, like the Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri and all, they flow their rivers, they drain their water at its mouth. Okay, means before joining the ocean, the water gets deposited, the sediments get deposited over there, and the deltas are being formed. Whereas the west flowing rivers, they form estuaries at its mouths. Okay, the main difference between deltas and estuaries are that deltas are larger in size and estuaries are smaller in size. Okay, so these are the four major differences between the east flowing and the west flowing peninsular rivers. Okay, so these two questions are very much important from this drainage system chapter, because in order to study, okay, in order to have a better understanding about the river system of our country, first of all we must know about the origin, okay, and about some of their basic characteristics actually. So this class provides us information about those characteristics and the differences between the Himalayan and the peninsular rivers, as well as the differences between the east flowing and the west flowing peninsular rivers. Okay, so I hope you all have understood this topic, and this is going to help you a lot in your upcoming tests. So thank you my dear students.